Baik, Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, kami mohon untuk masih berada di dalam ruangan karena acara akan kita lanjutkan kembali dan kami ucapkan selamat datang kepada Kepala Eksekutif Pengawas Perbankan Otoritas Jasa Keuangan Republik Indonesia, Bapak Dian Ediana Rae. Selamat datang, Bapak. Baik, hadirin yang kami hormati, kita akan segera lanjutkan untuk agenda berikutnya, di mana sesi selanjutnya kita akan dengarkan bersama keynote speech yang akan disampaikan oleh Bapak Dian Ediana Rae, Kepala Eksekutif Pengawas Perbankan Otoritas Jasa Keuangan, yang akan mengangkat tema mengenai Shaping the Path Forward Digital Banking Transformation. Hadirin, kita sambut Bapak Dian Ediana Rae.
Oke. Maaf nih jadi rush karena ada percepatan ya. Ada percepatan waktu. Baik, saya kira masih banyak yang berdiri, saya tidak akan mulai berbicara, teman-teman sekalian. Mungkin ini terlalu cepat dipanggil, saya ke stage. Orang lagi istirahat sudah masuk. So everyone is still moving. I have to wait for a while. Bu Anika kita akan Baik, Bapak Ibu sekalian, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, selamat pagi, Om, Santi Om. Bapak Ibu sekalian, yang saya hormati, mungkin ini karena suasana masih belum settle, mohon maaf saya mungkin agak mungkin agak kurang nyaman ya kalau misalnya masih ada yang bergerak gitu. Bisa. Baik. Gak apa-apa, kita Bu Anika gimana kira-kira? Gimana Pak? Oke, baik. Baik, mohon maaf Bapak Ibu sekalian, mungkin saya masih agak karena saya masih mendengar noise, saya kira memang mungkin suasananya memang dibuat seperti ini. Baik, Bapak Ibu sekalian, sekali lagi saya ucapkan selamat siang. Yang saya hormati Bapak Ibu Deputi Komisioner dan Kepala Departemen di lingkungan OJK, di sini ada Pak Devri dan teman-teman. Kemudian Bapak Ibu narasumber dan moderator, Deputi Komisioner Pengawas Bank Pemerintah dan Syariah OJK, ini Bapak Bapak Devri Andi. Kemudian Direktur Digital dan Integrated Transaction Banking Bank BNI, Bapak Hussein Paulo Kartajumena, Pak Hussein. Kemudian juga Direktur Utama dan CEO PT KRIF Lembaga Informasi Keuangan, Bapak Leonardo Lapolarsia. Ya, Pak. Kemudian juga Team Head Digital Innovation Department Financial Supervisory Services, Korea, Mr. Hwang Jung-hun. Kemudian juga partner PwC Indonesia, Bapak Rimko Nural, ada di sini. Pak Nurko. Kemudian Wakil Ketua Departemen Neobank Asosiasi Fintech Indonesia, Aftek, Ibu Anika Faisal, ada di sini, selaku moderator, Members of Ladies Bank. Bapak Ibu perwakilan anggota Aftek, kemudian juga IFSE, Asosiasi Fintech Syariah Indonesia, dan juga AFPI, Asosiasi Fintech Pendanaan Bersama Indonesia, Bapak Ibu hadirin sekalian yang berbahagia. Sekali lagi Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera buat kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, dan selamat sore. Pertama-tama tentu marilah kita panjatkan puji syukur kehadirat Tuhan Yang Maha Esa atas berkah kesehatan, karunia dan kesempatan yang diberikan sehingga kita dapat berkumpul dalam acara Indonesia Fintech Summit Expo 2024 yang ke-6 ini. Kami pertama-tama ingin mengucapkan terima kasih kepada panitia penyelenggara atas usahanya untuk menyelenggarakan kesempatan ini, sehingga kita dapat berkumpul dalam acara Indonesia Fintech Summit Expo tahun 2024 yang ke-6 ini. Kami ingin menyampaikan terima kasih kepada panitia penyelenggara, ya, kemudian yang untuk penyelenggaraan acara yang saya kira selalu istimewa di setiap tahunnya. Kemudian juga saya ingin menyampaikan tentu saja adalah menghargai komitmen para profesional yang berkumpul di sini yang bekerja secara sungguh-sungguh dalam memajukan ekosistem keuangan nasional kita. Bapak Ibu serta hadirin yang kami hormati, setelah pandemi COVID-19, pertumbuhan ekonomi Indonesia telah kembali ke angka yang positif. Pemulihan ini mencerminkan ketahanan dan adaptabilitas Indonesia yang didorong tidak hanya oleh faktor pertumbuhan tradisional seperti tenaga kerja, modal manusia, dan modal fisik, tetapi juga secara signifikan oleh kemajuan teknologi. Teknologi telah menjadi elemen penting untuk mempertahankan pertumbuhan ekonomi, meningkatkan produktivitas, mendorong inovasi, dan meningkatkan efisiensi di berbagai sektor. Seiring dengan transformasi digital yang cepat, bisnis memanfaatkan teknologi untuk memperlancar operasi, mengoptimalkan rantai pasokan, dan memperluas jangkauan mereka melalui kegiatan e-commerce yang semuanya berkontribusi pada dinamika ekonomi digital kita. Indonesia memiliki ekonomi digital terbesar di ASEAN. Berdasarkan joint report Google, Temasek, dan Bain & Company, ekosistem ekonomi digital Indonesia merupakan salah satu yang tumbuh paling cepat di Asia Tenggara dan diperkirakan akan melebihi angka 130 miliar US dollar pada tahun 2025 tahun depan. Saat ini nilainya sudah mencapai angka 90 miliar dolar. Menyumbang hampir sekitar 40% dari ekonomi digital ASEAN. Didorong oleh tingginya penetrasi internet dan populasi muda yang tech savvy. Sejalan dengan hal ini, BPS atau Badan Pusat Statistik Indonesia juga melaporkan bahwa 75,6% dari total penduduk Indonesia sebanyak 276 juta jiwa dikategorikan sebagai tech savvy. Penggunaan teknologi mobile yang meluas terlihat dari 353 juta koneksi ponsel atau melebihi total populasi sebanyak 127,8%. Konektivitas yang luas ini berkontribusi pada penggunaan internet yang sangat signifikan dengan 185 juta pengguna internet atau sekitar 67% dari populasi yang menghabiskan rata-rata 6 jam 40 menit untuk online setiap hari. Selain itu sekitar 139 juta orang aktif di media sosial, mewakili setengah dari populasi penduduk Indonesia. Namun demikian, seiring berjalannya tahun 2024, sentimen investor di sektor digital Indonesia menjadi lebih berhati-hati. Tech Winters atau periode yang ditandai oleh penurunan investasi di sektor teknologi, termasuk startup fintech, terus mempengaruhi sikap investor secara global. Di masa lalu dari tahun 2019 hingga 2021, startup digital Indonesia mengalami pertumbuhan valuasi yang luar biasa di tengah likuiditas yang sangat tinggi. Namun sejak tahun 2022 hingga sekarang dengan adanya kenaikan suku bunga di Amerika Serikat, tekanan inflasi, dan ketidakpastian geopolitik membawa fase baru yang sangat menantang bagi investasi di bidang teknologi. Bapak, Ibu, serta hadirin yang berbahagia, meskipun demikian, industri perbankan Indonesia berada pada posisi yang baik untuk memberikan dukungan finansial yang diperlukan bagi inovasi dan pertumbuhan yang berkelanjutan, dan juga untuk mendukung visi Astat Cita, khususnya dalam aspek digitalisasi. Oleh karena itu, diharapkan winter yang terkait dengan perkembangan teknologi digital ini akan segera berlalu. Selama 5 tahun terakhir, OJK telah melaporkan pertumbuhan tahunan rata-rata aset perbankan sebesar 8,5%, didorong oleh ekspansi kredit yang solid dan peningkatan dana pihak ketiga. Hingga September 2024, rasio loan to deposit ratio tetap sehat di sekitar angka 86,9%, dengan rasio kecukupan modal yang tinggi sebesar 26,9%. Ini adalah merupakan angka-angka yang cukup tinggi secara rata-rata dibandingkan dengan negara-negara lain di dunia. Hal yang tentu saja ini dengan memastikan stabilitas tetap dipeliharanya stabilitas keuangan. Rasio NPL yang rendah sebesar 2,2% menunjukkan bahwa bank mengelola portofolio pinjaman mereka secara efektif. Faktor-faktor ini memposisikan sektor perbankan Indonesia sebagai mitra yang dapat diandalkan untuk mendukung inovasi dan pertumbuhan dalam ekonomi digital nasional. Laporan Bank Indonesia semakin menyoroti momentum digitalisasi ini. Transaksi e-commerce mencapai sekitar 30 miliar dolar pada tahun 2023 dengan proyeksi pertumbuhan sebesar 7,2% menjadi hampir 32 miliar dolar pada akhir tahun ini. Perbankan digital juga mengalami pertumbuhan yang luar biasa dengan transaksi mencapai angka 3,9 triliun US dollar pada tahun 2023 dan diantisipasi akan meningkat sebesar 9,1% mencapai angka sekitar 4,3 triliun pada tahun 2024. Landscape digital yang berkembang pesat menghadirkan peluang bagi perbankan untuk mendorong transformasi digital, khususnya dalam memberikan layanan perbankan digital. Dengan semakin banyaknya masyarakat yang mengintegrasikan layanan digital ke dalam kehidupan sehari-hari, permintaan akan pengalaman digital atau digital experience ini yang seamless, efisien, dan aman semakin menguat. Bapak, Ibu, serta hadirin yang kami hormati, salah satu perkembangan yang menjanjikan dalam mendorong transformasi perbankan digital adalah apa yang disebut sebagai open banking. Secara tradisional, bank menyimpan data keuangan nasabah dalam closed system. Open banking memungkinkan nasabah untuk berbagi informasi keuangan secara elektronik dengan penyedia pihak ketiga, seperti perusahaan fintech, penyedia layanan pembayaran, dan bank lain, tetapi hanya dengan persetujuan nasabah. Sejalan dengan ini, sebagaimana kita ketahui Undang-Undang Nomor 4 Tahun 2023 tentang pengembangan dan penguatan sektor keuangan atau disingkat Undang-Undang P2SK juga mendukung akses open data bagi bank. Berdasarkan peraturan tersebut, bank dapat memberikan akses data dan informasi nasabah kepada penyedia layanan keuangan lain, asalkan dengan persetujuan nasabah dan demi untuk kepentingan nasabah. Data sharing ini bertujuan untuk menyediakan akses ke layanan baru dan beragam yang disesuaikan dengan kebutuhan individu. Misalnya, nasabah dapat menggabungkan informasi dari beberapa rekening bank ke dalam satu aplikasi, sehingga menyederhanakan pengelolaan keuangan. Lebih jauh lagi, dengan data yang dibagikan melalui open banking, bank dapat menilai kelayakan kredit dengan lebih baik lagi. Bahkan untuk individu yang tidak memiliki riwayat kredit, tradisional. Hal ini memperluas akses keuangan bagi populasi yang unbankable dan mendukung sektor perbankan yang lebih kuat. Kedepannya, open banking dapat menciptakan ekosistem keuangan yang lebih kompetitif dan mendorong kemitraan antara bank dan fintech. Kolaborasi ini menggabungkan kekuatan kedua sektor, memacu penawaran layanan keuangan baru, dan membangun lanskap perbankan yang lebih kuat. Kedepannya, open banking dapat menciptakan ekosistem keuangan yang lebih kompetitif dan lebih mendorong kemitraan antara bank dan fintech. Bapak Ibu sekalian yang berbahagia, meskipun open banking menjanjikan banyak peluang, namun juga menghadirkan berbagai tantangan yang harus diatasi juga secara langsung. Kami ingin membahas tantangan-tantangan ini dan peran regulasi serta pengawasan OJK yang memungkinkan kita bergerak maju dengan tetap aman dan percaya diri. Pertama, yang terkait dengan data security. Dalam open banking, informasi keuangan sensitif nasabah dapat dibagikan ke berbagai platform. Maka menjaga data ini adalah hal yang sangat penting. Nasabah memerlukan keyakinan bahwa rincian data pribadi dan keuangan dijamin keamanannya. Oleh karena itu, protokol keamanan yang ketat dan praktek manajemen risiko sebagaimana diatur dalam Peraturan OJK Nomor 11 Tahun 2022 tentang teknologi informasi bagi bank umum sangat esensial. Regulasi ini menekankan tata kelola teknologi informasi dan langkah-langkah keamanan yang kuat guna memastikan perbankan mengelola dan memitigasi risiko seiring dengan meluasnya pemanfaatan data sharing, potensi terjadinya cyber attack, dan meningkatnya third party risk melalui penggunaan vendor dalam pengembangan sistem TI. Pengawasan OJK yang berkesinambungan harus memastikan bank mematuhi regulasi dimaksud dan menindak setiap pelanggaran, termasuk pelanggaran yang dilakukan oleh para vendor. Tantangan berikutnya adalah interoperability dan standarisasi. Open banking memerlukan landasan application programming interface atau yang disebut dengan API yang terstandarisasi sehingga memungkinkan bank dan penyedia pihak ketiga berkomunikasi dengan lancar. Namun saat ini integrasi antar sistem yang berbeda bisa menjadi rumit. POJK atau Peraturan Otoritas Jasa Keuangan Nomor 21 Tahun 2023 tentang layanan perbankan digital menjadi pedoman perbankan dalam mengembangkan layanan digital yang konsisten dan berpusat pada nasabah. Peraturan ini mendorong inovasi serta mendukung terciptanya ekosistem yang aman dan interoperable, di mana bank dapat bekerja sama dengan perusahaan fintech dan mitra lainnya. Terakhir, bahwa kepercayaan dan awareness nasabah bagi banyak orang, konsep open banking mungkin terasa masih asing atau bahkan mengkhawatirkan. Banyak nasabah ragu berbagi informasi keuangan karena tidak yakin akan manfaat dan perlindungan yang diberikan. Membangun kesadaran dan mengedukasi nasabah mengenai manfaat dan keamanan open banking menjadi sangat penting. Undang-Undang Nomor 27 Tahun 2022 tentang perlindungan data pribadi merupakan framework untuk memastikan setiap nasabah mengetahui bahwa data mereka ditangani secara transparan dan hanya dengan persetujuan mereka. Undang-undang ini dapat memperkuat keyakinan nasabah untuk percaya pada sistem serta membangun landasan transparansi dan akuntabilitas, terutama bagi industri perbankan. Bapak, Ibu, serta hadirin yang kami hormati, masa depan perbankan digital di Indonesia penuh dengan peluang. Namun hal ini memerlukan fokus dan komitmen kita bersama. Tantangannya nyata, namun kita dapat mengatasi rintangan ini dengan memprioritaskan keamanan, interoperability, dan kepercayaan. Melalui dukungan regulasi dan kemitraan lintas industri, OJK berkomitmen untuk mengembangkan landscape perbankan digital di mana inovasi, keamanan, dan keamanan berkembang dengan pesat. Era digital menuntut kita untuk membentuk masa depan dengan tujuan yang lebih jelas. Open banking dan transformasi digital memiliki kekuatan untuk mendemokratisasi layanan keuangan, serta memungkinkan setiap orang Indonesia mengakses dan mendapatkan manfaat dari produk dan layanan keuangan. Mari kita semua bekerja sama untuk membangun ekosistem keuangan yang memberdayakan, yang melindungi, dan memberikan manfaat bagi semua orang. Kami menantikan kolaborasi berkelanjutan dengan Bapak Ibu semua dalam transformasi ini dan menciptakan sektor keuangan yang tangguh dan inklusif. Demikian, terima kasih. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Bapak Dian Ediana atas keynote speech yang baru saja disampaikan mengenai shaping the path forward digital banking transformation. Baik Bapak Ibu sekalian, kita akan segera memasuki untuk diskusi panel berikutnya, di mana akan membahas topik mengenai Embed to expand the future of bank and fintech. Bapak dan Ibu sekalian yang kami hormati, sesi ini akan dilangsungkan dengan bahasa Inggris. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, in this session, our speakers, ranging from local and international speakers, will explore how embedded and open finance transforming the financial landscape and its impact for business, consumers, and the Indonesian economy. Ya, kami mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Bapak Dian Ediana yang telah berkenan hadir. And ladies and gentlemen, allow me to provide a brief overview of their profiles of our speakers. Our first speakers, Bapak Devri Andri. He is the Deputy Commissioner of State-Owned and Sharia Bank Supervision, Indonesia Financial Services Authority, or OJK, with more than 25 years of banking supervision related to foreign banks, state-owned banks, and Sharia banks. And our second speaker, Bapak Hussein Paulo Kartajumena, Director of Digital and Integrated Transaction Banking, Bank Negara Indonesia, or BNI, with extensive experience in banking sector holding previous key position, such as Senior Executive Vice President of Corporate Development and Transformation at BNI. And our third speaker, Mr. Leonardo Lapalorquia, President of the Board of Directors and CEO of PT KRIF Lembaga Informasi Keuangan, or KLIK, with the extensive experience developing credit reporting infrastructures across Southeast Asia and Africa. And our fourth speakers, Mr. Hwang Jung-hoon, as a team head, Digital Innovation Department, Financial Supervisory Service Korea, with extensive experience including commercial bank risk management and credit bureau supervision. And Bapak Rimko Nural, as the partner of PwC Indonesia, with more than 25 years of experience in multiple industries through roles as consultants or part of management in companies. And this session will be led by Ibu Annika Faisal as the Deputy Head of Aftech Neobank Department, a vastly experienced professional in the field of law with various key positions, such as Commissioner of PT Bank Jago Tbk, and Secretary General of Indonesian Bank Association, or Perbanas. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now please welcome our speakers and moderator, Bapak Devri Andri, Bapak Hussein Paulo Kartajumena, Mr. Leonardo Lapalorquia, Mr. Hwang Jun-hoon, Bapak Rimko Nural, and our moderator, Ibu Annika Faisal. The stage is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, let me pick up from here. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace be upon us all. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, greetings of virtue. Very good afternoon to all of you, distinguished participant ladies and gentlemen, joining us here at Mall Kota Casablanca. I'm Anika Faisal. I was introduced earlier, so I don't have to introduce myself. But today my role is to lead the panel discussion this afternoon, Embed to Expand the Future of Bank and Fintech. Pak Dian has already give some information and background as to how is the importance of collaboration or the embedded between the bank and fintech in the form of open banking. So in this session we will be talking about, among others, development and hidden potentials of embedded and open finance in Indonesia, success stories and key learning of embedded and open finance in Indonesia as well abroad. We have Mr. Huang here. Maybe you can share with us your experience. And priorities, focuses and collaboration opportunities to further support optimal growth of Indonesian fintech industry as well digital economy ecosystem through embedded and open finance. So for the first round I have a general question that I've prepared for you all, gentlemen. First question. In what ways, in your opinion, does embedded finance will contribute to the growth of the digital ecosystem and further expand the financial inclusion for underserved population? If you care to share some example as well, please. And if I may start with Pak Defri, and then followed with Pak Paolo, Leonardo, Pak Rimko, and Pak Huang, you will be the last.
Thank you, Ibu Anika, thank you. So, in my opinion that the embedded finance is transforming digital ecosystem and expanding financial inclusion for undeserved populations, underserved populations by, let's say, we can increase the accessibility through the seamless integration and better access to relevant financial products and services. So probably we have now so many agents, right, in so many remote areas in Indonesia that actually have utilized this kind of seamlessly, the embedded finance. And the second, probably, it will support the micro entrepreneurs and SME through the tailored services. So the tailored services could be done through this kind of the embedded finance as well. And of course, expanding the reach through the platform data leveraging, because the platform data could be leveraged in order to serve everybody actually. So that's my point of view. Thank you.
Interesting. Let's hear Pak Paolo, your view from the banking industry.
Sure. Thank you, Bu Anika. So I think for me, embedded finance is about making it more convenient for the consumer. So actually you are accessing financial services without necessarily going to a bank website or a bank app. And I think one of the easiest examples of that is, for example, the pay later product, right? Where someone wants to buy, shoes, and then, instead of paying in cash, they can pay through an installment plan. And I think the potential for embedded finance is really around the consumer segment, as well as Pak Defri mentioned, the SME segment, yep. Right? Because actually people want to go about their lives without thinking about banking, right? They just want to go through their activities, whether purchasing goods, transport, so making it more convenient. And I think embedded finance has a big role to reach these segments where, maybe people are not so comfortable using traditional banking products. So I think that's really the potential.
Yeah, interesting. And Leonardo, you have a view?
I have a comment. Hello, Ms. Anika. Hello, everybody. So I think embedded finance is a very important concept to discuss. And it's, in my opinion, complementary to the concept of open banking and open finance. The idea of embedding and layering financial services to support the execution of real transactions, no? So consumption of any kind, whether it's a service or as a good, has an incredible acceleration factor to the real economy. Just imagine by the time you close one transaction, you've already subscribed to 3, 4 different kinds of underlying and ancillary services. So it doesn't only grow the digital ecosystem, but it grows the economy as a whole. It has a very, very strong impact to the economic growth of a nation. But again, it's a concept that is one-legged if it doesn't have the access to an expanded data asset that comes from the two buzzwords that we refer to as open banking or open finance. Now, my answer can become very long, so I'll try and keep it short.
I know, but we have a limited time, unfortunately.
So I guess embedding financial services is extremely important for boosting efficiency. That efficiency somewhat lowers your internal cost of executing processes, which in turn makes the product available ubiquitously and at a cheaper price, and so more affordable. Now, the idea of then completing the transformation and not only having an efficiency gain, but an accuracy and an effectiveness gain derives from having access to more data. To allow, and Dian rightfully mentioned so, the issue is about privacy, is not about tech. Is what data we're accessing to, for what reason? And I also like to recall a couple of statements of Mr. Paolo, it's to better serve the consumer. It's the same thing as going to the doctor. You allow the physician to be so invasive and become so personal about your sensitive and intimate information, because you know that that doctor, even under oath in front of a court, will never disclose what you told him in confidence because he was only there to make your good. And it's the same thing. If we can combine the power of data with the purpose for which that data is unleashed with large tech, we definitely have a ripple effect across numerous segments of economy. Thank you.
Great. Then next, Mr.
Okay,
Iman,
thank you, Bu. So I'll give a different angle on how to respond to that, because I have the data view, the regulator view, and the banking view. The way I see it, embedded finance is it's opening innovations for industries, any industries, because it's connecting the one with the license, which is bank, and the one without the license. So if you mix the capability of those with license and those without license, it opens up more opportunities, more innovations. And we in PwC, we have done some research. We believe the next 5 years until 2030, the growth on banking in the global way, more than 15%, it will be driven by embedded finance. Imagine this. I give you one very good simple example. If Pertamina can work together with bank, imagine the possibilities. Because how many customers of Pertamina can have some banking capabilities that is beyond our current thought process and whatever the products available in the market. So that open up the innovations. That's the way we see it.
Very interesting point of view. So, Mr. Huang, what's your view, especially from the Korea experience? Yeah, I think you can speak.
Yes, we view one of the advantages embedded finance can offer is increasing benefits to those with relatively lower credit standing and relatively lower financial literacy by helping them consume financial products more easily or possibly with more favorable terms. In South Korea, platform finance is promoted by alliances and collaborations among market participants, such as traditional financial companies, non-financial companies, and fintech companies, driving the growth of the digital financial ecosystem. In particular, by utilizing CV scoring from alternative credit bureaus in the personal credit scoring system of financial companies, we're expanding financial inclusion by providing more loan opportunities for thin filers, such as small business owners, home business owners, and young professionals, and supporting low interest rate loans for those with low to medium credit standing. Introducing financial product platform that allow big tech and fintech companies to work as intermediary of financial products through a regulatory sandbox since year 2020, contributing to lowering the cost of financial services for consumers and improving the efficiency of financial transactions, thereby promoting the financial inclusion. Thank you.
Okay, so moving on, can I just ask some specific question to you gentlemen? So let me start with Pak Defri. Probably if you can give me a brief, views of what is OJK's perspective on the growth of the embedded finance. I mean, like we do have that already in place in Indonesia, and how these trends actually align with the goals of increasing financial inclusion as well driving innovation in Indonesia.
Okay, talking about this is always interesting because we have I don't say it's a dilemma, but I will say it's a mix between the how to create the innovations, how to support the innovations, but on the other way, you are going to be the first to be blamed as regulator or supervisor if something bad happened with the platform, let's say. So I will say that technology has always become essential to sustaining economic growth. That's the key. Businesses are leveraging technology to streamline operations, optimize the supply chains, expand the reach through the e-commerce and everything else, right? So, along with that, Indonesian government also has issued the omnibus law. It's also support actually the involvement of the financial, institutions into the life of everybody's here actually, because they allow banks to have the investment in the non-bank institutions, right? So that's a big move actually. Yeah. However, that we also have some concerns that as a supervisor, regulators, we always pay attention to that. So let's say we also have the regulations, the law with regards to the customers' data protections, right? Are we going, as a regulator, are we going to issue like a very specific, guidelines with regards to this one? It's not easy to answer that. Why? Because whenever we say that as long as the customer's consent has been obtained at the first time they open the account, it's going to be used probably expensively by the banks. But what is the corridors that can assure everybody that there will be no breach that is not, it's like I will say the unintended consequences of doing this. And that looking ahead, open and embedded finance also can create a more competitive financial ecosystem, encouraging partnership between banks and fintech. But as we are aware, and it's also the discussion in the international fora, that the level of risk management and corporate governance that are applied in the banks are a little bit, if I can say, it's quite a gap to the fintech as well. It's not really easy to make them equal, and I don't say that they have to be equal. So it's not easy, but once again, the dilemma, I don't say it's a dilemma, but it will be a mix between the innovations and, you know, the security, the risk management. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Devri. I think it's a very good, elaboration of the, not dilemma, but the complexity of, how do you regulate but not over-regulate in that sense, right? So moving on to Pak Paulo, what aspiration does PNI hold in terms of regarding this embedded and open finance or open banking for that matters? How do you see being one of the largest bank in Indonesia? And what are the opportunities as well? What kind of product innovation can you think of? I know I shoot out so many questions, but...
Yeah. Thank you, Bu Anika. So I think, as you mentioned, BNI as a systemic bank, definitely we have a big role to play in embedded finance going forward. And we believe in working very closely with the regulator because anything that we do has a significant impact on the industry. And again, for me, the biggest impact is actually in trying to better serve the SME segment. As we know, this is always one of the segments that we haven't fully served today. And I think anything that we can do to make it more accessible for that segment is a positive for the economy. And I think I would also like to add that, my personal view, the limitation or why embedded finance hasn't reached its full potential is actually not because of regulation, but we do have a growing process because we are still, in the growth stage of digital literacy, right? We have to remember that there are people who are already digital natives, but we have, like my mother is also using mobile banking, using, e-commerce apps, and, the habits of protecting the OTP, protecting your KTP information, this is actually the weakest link in the ecosystem today. And I think if we're dealing with, millions of customers, as Pak Dian mentioned, we have 300 million mobile numbers. This is the big risk that together, fintech and banks and the regulator have to solve.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paulo. Fully seconded your point about digital literacy. I think we have a lot of homework for that matters. Next, Leo, how does open finance, in your opinion, allows the sharing, being coming from the credit bureau and all, right? How do you share this financial data, and how does it will help the sharing of financial data across institutions, of which hopefully it will improve the accuracy and inclusivity of credit scoring models, in particular for the customers with, especially for those markets which have no sort of credit history?
Okay. And maybe first I'll spend a couple of seconds commenting on the last statement. I think in the early 2000s we went through a very substantial digital revolution across the board. And by the end of the first decade, social media platforms and large tech were the titans of the economy in a blink of an eye. They've aspired to this level of fame and influence. This brought a lot of concern to the sort of privacy violation and invasion impact that private sector for-profit entities could do in approaching you commercially and possibly selling you at a subliminal level. We were joking before how you don't have a weekend anymore, you don't have an off time and a work time anymore because of the post-pandemic effect. But consumers are in the same conditions. They consume it every hour of the day and the night, every day of the week, in moments where they're not ready to make informed decisions. When we ask consumers for their consent, consumers tend to consent at anything and at any point because they're emotionally motivated by interacting with their digital medium to execute transactions that they're not 100% convinced of. Should you have to walk to the shop, take a bus or a taxi, wait for the opening hours, identify which shop to buy, all of your purchases would be much more informed. So we have to work a lot on raising the awareness, both on the operator side as well as the consumer side, and we have to wait for the regulator to really address what is the vision. What is the reason for which all of the industry stakeholders should embark in this very expensive and time-consuming and effortsome transformation, and what should be the final expected result?
Okay, so sort of homework as well between the industry and the regulators together to define the sort of like the...
Absolutely, absolutely.
Pak Rimko,
Yep.
from your, from your point of view, how do you assess the progress of the financial institution, whether they are really adopting open and embedded finance in Indonesia? I mean, like, you do say about the benefit of like this embedded, and you fully believe in that. But how do you see it in Indonesia? Is it happening yet? What are the good stuff? What are the things that happen already? What are the sort of like things that we need to progress further in that sense?
Thank you, Bu. So I've been called by many banks and other financial service institutions to consult on how they go to explore the embedded finance. I think it's going there, it's progressive. Given that the demography of populations of Indonesia is really productive age, and they are very innovative and creative, so any innovations is really very easy to be accepted in Indonesia compared to other places in the world. And we also see that banks are preparing into that directions. At this moment, for the last few years, banks are preparing the infrastructure, I think including BNI as well. So for them to embark, then they need to prepare the infrastructures. They are really preparing the core banking, they are preparing the data protection systems, whatever it is, so they prepare the infrastructure first. And at the same time, in my personal opinion, embedded finance is like marriage. Well, a man meet with a woman, and they need to work together and understand each other. So the culture in Indonesia, maybe there must be some adjustment for this to grow further, because now non-bank to talk to the bank is more like a customer to the provider. While if you want to grow in embedded finance, it's about partnership. So you have to talk together as an eye-to-eye kind of things, because it will benefit both parties. Every party involved in that will get benefit of it. So I think if those challenges are well accepted, as you said, the digital literacy is going there. If those digital literacy, including to the industries, are more established, I think it's going there. Because like it or not, all bankers in Indonesia are struggling about a pressure of NIM now. You cannot compete in net interest margin anymore. You have to compete on fee-based income, on other things. So embedded finance is just a form of new business model where you have to explore. So like it or not, it has to go there. It has to go there. It's just the bank need to prepare the infrastructure, the fintech and the other industry need to be more creative on whatever they want to offer to the bank. The regulators need to prepare the safety of it, to secure it. And the customers just wait, and they're waiting for the products to come. Yeah. Whatever the new products coming to Indonesia, almost everything is very successful, is it? Facebook, we are the largest. Whatever it is, even when you were in Genius product, when Ibu Anika and BTPN just first launched, and it was successful right away. that's how easy our customer is when we can convince that this is good product. So I think we are very positive in that direction, as long as all stakeholders believe on that.
Very good way of explaining. So we have to have an open mind about it, everybody, industry practices. And, you know, just like a marriage, you have to give some to get some, right? So finally, Pak Huang, how you can give some sort of recommendation or feedback as to how, based on your experience in South Korea, what are the things that you think Indonesia can sort of learn or embark on?
Yes, in Korea, embedded finance and open finance are developing rapidly, focusing primarily on financial product platforms, payment services, and my data. Financial companies are fostering an open financial ecosystem by expanding the provision of open APIs to fintech and non-financial companies through the means of API market platform. As for financial supervisory authorities, we are seeking to support financial inclusion by promoting the regulatory sandbox and expanding investment through a fintech innovation fund. Korea is creating and executing a total fund of 1 trillion won, which is equivalent to 0.7 billion US dollars from 2020 to 2027 to foster the investment in the fintech industry and expanding and in order to further improve financial inclusion, it would be effective to consider and utilize all available policy measures and resources, which may include deregulation and investment in a preemptive manner.
I see. Thank you. I really enjoyed this conversation, actually, but unfortunately, we are limited by time. So for the final round, can I get each of you to share your conclusion or your point in 2 minutes? You know, like what are the messages that you want to get across to the audience here? Start with Pak Huang, perhaps. What's your view? 2 minutes, Pak, if possible.
I think we, as a financial supervisory authority, need to scrutinize both business complexity and regulatory complexity when it comes to designating sandbox in order to ensure balance between innovation and security. Like I said earlier, embedded finance has the advantage of increasing the overall benefits of financial consumers, but there are also concerns about side effects, adverse impact such as financial market instability, market volatility, incomplete sales, and possibly lead to monopoly by large platform companies. So Korea applies business conduct regulations under each financial laws and acts to platform companies, and also making sure the protection of financial consumers by law. As for Indonesia, it is believed that a policy review may be necessary in the near future to determine whether non-financial companies should be subject to the same business conduct regulation as existing traditional financial institutions.
Thank you, Pak Devri.
Yeah, I believe that with the embedded and open finance, the interactions between the customers and the financial services has been redefined. And the second one, that by doing this, the innovations in the banks are more flexible. Banks can do more things rather than before, right? And for the underserved people, there are like unprecedented access to the financial services. Things are more open for everybody right now. Of course, on the other way, on the other side of the table, you have to be able to strengthen the risk management, the readiness of the infrastructure, with also the corporate governance has to be robust, and also the legal certainty with regards to the legal aspects. So that's the thing that has to be balanced. We have to be able to strike the right balance between them. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Devri. Pak Paulo?
Yeah, I think for BNI, we have almost 300 API services. We work with about 2,000 partners already. So we are looking forward to continue to work with all players in the ecosystem to serve our clients not only domestically but also abroad. We do believe that collaboration is the best way forward, as long as it's in the best interest as well as the protection of the customer. We are very happy to collaborate. Thanks.
Thank you, Pak Leonardo.
Ms. Annika, my closing remarks. So we are a credit bureau operator. We've been active here for 15 years in Indonesia and about 50 years globally. Our job is to break data silos and to create data silos, data assets at a national level that can serve the industry. We continue to remain committed to do so in full transparency and accountability to the public sector and to the private sector, but more importantly to the consumers who are the ultimate owners of data. The journey is still long. There are still many data silos that are underutilized with a low level of data quality and low data availability to start with. This remains our primary focus, which I hope and I believe is supportive of the private sector journey and regulatory roadmap of the government. Now, the last point that I would like to stress in my closing remark is that in reality, we should try to solve. Sometimes you have to solve the tough problems first, and sometimes you should start with the not so tough problem first to flex your muscles and then tackle the bigger problems. When we talk about financial inclusions, I get a little bit skeptical because it's very much the job of a social service, of a government intervention. Alleviating poverty, it's a difficult job to do. Definitely not in the vision and mission of a for-profit bank. On the other hand, and this I remember personally, because the narrative 10, 15 years ago was never financial inclusion, was the growing middle class. Indonesia was and still is a middle economic country aspiring to become a high income country. But if we keep on talking about financial inclusion, if we keep on talking about poverty alleviation, we forget about what is the biggest burning engine in the country, which is the somewhat forgotten emerging middle class, for which there are enough data silos to serve them, there is enough technology to support them, and I think maybe a shift from financial inclusion to financial deepening with prime lending services could really have a gigantic ripple effect. Then we can go back to open banking and expanded data asset to further support this trickle-down effect, trickle-down economics. Thank you, everybody.
Well said, Leonardo. Pak Rimko?
Yeah, I think time is up, so I'll try to be quick. So for me, it's simple. It's a journey. So enjoy the journey, learn from the journey. Some will fail, some will prevail, some will be successful, learn from each other, and I think it's for everyone benefit, basically, because the business case is very strong over there in the embedded finance. It's just up to us to explore in which area we want to go further in this journey. Thank you.
Great. So with that, let me just say that it was truly an honor to hear from you gentlemen, distinguished panels, of your respective perspective on embedded and open finance. And with that, I would like to close off the session. A big round of applause, please, for our distinguished panelists today. Thank you for sharing your insight and giving a very, very good points and views. And thank you for a very lively and good discussion. We hope you all safe and healthy. This is Anika Faisal signing out.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to our speakers and moderator. Once again, thank you to Bapak Devri Andri, Bapak Hussein Paulo Kartojumena, Mr. Leonardo Lapalorkia, Mr. Huang Junghun, Bapak Rimko Nural, for very insightful session that talking about the future of bank and financial technology in Indonesia and the world. Baik Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, sesaat lagi kita akan lanjutkan sesi berikutnya yang akan mengangkat